All right, welcome back to Demo Hub Pod, everybody. We're diving into AI today, like we always do. But this time, we're taking a rapid-fire look at the trends and discussions that are shaping the tech world, like right now.
Sounds exciting.
It is. We've got a cool mix of sources, AI alignment forum discussions, Andrew Ng on tokenization, even a peek at Microsoft's work with AI in education, the stuff that actually matters.
Yeah, the stuff that hits close to home for all of us in tech.
Exactly. And to help us sort through it all, connect the dots, we've got our AI expert back with us.
Always happy to be here. Let's jump in.
Okay, let's start with AI alignment research. There's this really interesting discussion thread on the AI alignment forum started by Daniel Phelan.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw that one.
Yeah. He argues that focusing only on theoretical AI alignment just isn't enough anymore. We need to get practical.
He's got a point. AI is getting so advanced, just theorizing about alignment doesn't cut it. We need hands-on research, real-world application.
Exactly. And Phelan thinks neural networks, especially how they actually work internally, are key to understanding and, actually achieving AI alignment.
Makes sense. It's not enough to just look at what the AI is doing. We need to understand why.
Right, the mechanisms behind the decision.
Exactly. And that's where explainable AI comes into play.
Oh, explainable AI. I've heard that term thrown around.
Yeah, it's becoming more and more important, especially for tech professionals like yourselves.
So it's about being able to understand not just what the AI is doing, but why it's doing it.
Exactly. Imagine being able to debug an AI-driven system
Yeah.
by actually understanding its decision-making process.
Okay, so it's not just, a theoretical, make sure the AI is a good guy thing. It's about building AI systems that we can actually work with, right?
Exactly. Trust in a practical sense.
Got it. Makes sense. And this leads us to our next topic, democratizing AI education. There's this AI for Everyone's course on Coursera.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
It's designed for beginners,
Yeah.
Regardless of their technical background.
It aligns with this bigger movement of making AI accessible to everyone, not just engineers and data scientists.
Because everyone's jumping on the AI bandwagon these days, right?
Right. Having a basic understanding of AI is becoming crucial no matter your role.
So even if you're not coding AI yourself, you'll probably be working with AI systems.
Exactly. Interpreting the outputs, or maybe even on projects that involve AI.
Okay. So it's less about becoming an AI expert and more about being AI aware.
Precisely. Understanding how AI fits into the big picture of, your work and your industry.
Makes sense. Now let's look at what Microsoft is doing with AI in education.
Interesting.
We found this YouTube video by Mike Tolfson, and he talks about Microsoft's latest AI tools for educators. The focus is on Copilot features.
Copilot. That's interesting.
Yeah, they're integrating these features into like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, even Teams.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's like having an AI assistant for teachers, helping them with planning, analyzing data, even giving feedback to students.
I'm really interested in how Microsoft is emphasizing responsible AI.
Right. They're trying to build those ethical considerations into their products.
It makes you wonder, though, are these tools truly empowering educators? Or could there be a risk of, over-reliance on AI?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Are we empowering them or potentially de-skilling them?
Something to watch closely, especially for those of you in ed tech.
Definitely. Now let's jump over to Andrew Ng, the deep learning guru.
Oh, yeah. He always has some insightful things to say.
He had a LinkedIn post where he talks about tokenization costs, something a lot of people overlook in AI development.
Oh, that's a crucial point.
He explains that most AI API providers charge, per million tokens. So understanding tokenization is essential for managing costs.
Especially when you're working with large data sets and complex models.
Right, and those costs can sneak up on you as your AI applications become more sophisticated.
Absolutely. Developers need to factor those costs in from the very beginning. You don't want to be surprised by a huge bill later on.
That's true. So for those of you working on AI projects, have you thought about the impact of these tokenization costs? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments.
Definitely. Let us know your experiences.
Now, let's move on to a more fundamental part of AI, deep learning. We took a look at the Wikipedia entry on deep learning, just for a quick refresher.
Always good to revisit the basics.
It turns out deep learning has a longer history than I realized.
Yeah, a lot of people think it's a new thing, but
Right. I thought so too.
the foundations were actually laid back in the 1980s with the early neural networks.
Wow, so much earlier than I thought. What's changed since then?
Well, what really pushed deep learning forward was the, availability of huge data sets and the increase in computing power.
Ah, that makes sense. Data is the fuel for these models, right?
Absolutely. And now we see deep learning used in so many applications, from drug discovery to, get this, material science.
Wait, material science. How is AI involved in that?
Well, think about it. AI can analyze these enormous data sets of material properties and predict new materials, materials with specific characteristics.
Wow, that's amazing. So AI could be revolutionizing fields we haven't even considered yet.
Exactly. For example, a Google DeepMind system has already discovered like over 2 million new materials.
That's incredible. So it's not just about like chatbots and image recognition anymore. Deep learning is impacting scientific discovery.
It really is. And as the technology keeps evolving, we can expect even more, unexpected applications.
Exciting times.
Absolutely.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about, the human side of AI. We found some interesting profiles on Stanford profiles of researchers doing some really groundbreaking work in AI and its impact on society.
It's important to remember that AI is a tool, created by humans.
Yeah, we need to think about how it's developed, how it's used, what it means for society.
Exactly. Researchers like Emma Brunskill, Fei-Fei Lai, they're leading the way in human-centered AI research.
Fei-Fei Li, she co-directs the Stanford Institute for Human-Centered AI, right? The name itself says a lot.
It does. Her focus is making sure AI development, puts human values and needs first.
I was reading a 2020 article in Nature, and she and her co-authors talked about using AI to understand what they call the dark spaces of healthcare.
Oh, yeah, the areas where we don't have a lot of data and insights.
Right. Lai thinks AI, combined with things like ambient sensors, could totally change how we deliver healthcare.
It's fascinating to think about how AI can improve healthcare, address those challenges.
Yeah, but Laia also really emphasizes responsible AI development in this context, right?
No, absolutely. Things like clinical validation, data privacy, model transparency, they're all crucial.
Especially when it comes to sensitive data, people's health.
Definitely. We need to make sure AI is used ethically and effectively.
Okay, let's talk about something that comes up a lot in the AI world, machine learning.
As always evolving, right?
Yeah. And to get a sense of what's happening, we checked out the R Machine Learning subreddit.
Ah, Reddit. Always a good pulse on what the community's thinking.
One discussion caught my eye about whether large language models, LLMs, can actually learn from just one example.
Oh, that's a good one. Traditionally, machine learning needs tons of data to learn, right?
Yeah, but the idea of AI learning like us from just a few examples is pretty interesting.
Definitely. The Reddit discussion, though, pointed out some limitations of current LLMs.
Wreck what?
Well, they're great at generating text, but their reliance on next token prediction may not be the best for, complex knowledge.
Next token prediction.
Yeah, it's basically predicting the next word in a sequence, like a super advanced autocomplete.
Okay, I get it. So how does that limit their learning?
It's good for text generation, but it might not be the best way to represent how knowledge connects.
So when we learn, we're not just thinking about the next word. We're making connections, drawing on experiences, seeing the big picture.
Exactly. Some people think the next step in AI might involve, finding new ways to represent knowledge, ways that are more like how our brains work.
Interesting. Maybe it's not just about bigger models, more data, but a totally different approach to how AI processes information.
It could be. That's what makes AI research so cool, always pushing the boundaries.
Okay, let's get back to something a bit more practical. Another post on machine learning talked about the cost of AI development and who can access it.
That's a big one. As AI gets more powerful, the resources you need to train and run these models, they're getting really expensive.
And that raises concerns about, who can actually afford to do this.
Exactly. It could create a gap between those big tech companies with tons of money and smaller groups or researchers.
Right, we can't just assume everyone has unlimited computing power.
We need to be aware of these costs, find ways to make AI development more accessible, more equitable.
So, to our listeners in the tech industry, how can we fix this? What solutions or initiatives have you seen working?
Share your thoughts. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, let's have a discussion. Now, we talked about deep learning earlier, but let's dive a little deeper into the technical side.
All right, sounds good.
We dug a bit more into the Wikipedia entry on deep learning, found some cool historical bits.
Ah, what did you find?
Did you know the P in ChatGPT stands for pre-training?
Ah, right. It means they train the neural networks on a huge data set first, like all of Wikipedia, before fine-tuning it for a specific task.
It's like giving the model this massive knowledge base to use.
Exactly. That pre-training step is why ChatGPT can write such human-like text.
So it's not just about the model's design, but also the data it's learned from.
Exactly. And now this pre-training thing, it's used for all sorts of deep learning, not just language.
Oh, really? Like what?
We're seeing it in image recognition, speech synthesis, even protein folding.
Wow, so many different applications.
Yeah, it's like having a bunch of expert builders who can create almost anything once you give them the right instructions.
That's a great analogy. And the applications of deep learning are just getting more and more diverse.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just chatbots and self-driving cars anymore.
Right. It's being used to find new drugs, design new materials, even control robots in factories.
It's transforming so many industries. And as the algorithms get better and we have even bigger data sets, the possibilities are endless.
It's amazing, but it also makes you think about how we manage this rapid innovation responsibly.
That's key. We need to be thinking about the ethics of these powerful technologies, making sure they're used for good.
And that's on all of us, right?
Yeah.
Researchers, developers, policymakers, even regular people.
We need to have these discussions, figure out what future we want to create with AI.
I couldn't agree more. It's easy to get lost in all the hype, but we need to remember these are powerful tools. They can be used for good and bad.
We need to ask those tough questions now while we still have time to shape the future of AI.
Now, we talked about some of the ethical issues around AI, but that conversation isn't just happening in academia, right?
It's definitely happening in the tech world, too.
We found some interesting articles on the Fast.ai blog run by Jeremy Howard and Rachel Thomas.
Oh, yeah. They're both well known in the AI community, really advocating for accessibility and ethical AI.
One article that stuck with me was called 16 Things You Can Do to Make Tech More Ethical.
That's a great one. It's really practical.
Yeah, it's for anyone who wants to make a difference, even if they're not super technical.
It's important to feel like you can make a difference.
Absolutely. It covers everything from being aware of your own biases to speaking out against unethical practices.
It's about supporting those organizations working towards a fair AI landscape.
Yeah, it's great they offer concrete actions because it's easy to feel overwhelmed.
For sure. We all have a role to play in this.
It starts with being aware, informed, engaged.
Absolutely. Now, how about we talk about some of the tools being developed that make AI development easier and more efficient?
Okay, what are some examples?
Well, one big one is TensorFlow, an open source platform from Google.
TensorFlow, yeah, I've heard that name.
It's changed the game for AI. It's flexible, powerful. You can build and deploy all sorts of machine learning models.
And because it's open source, anyone can use it. It doesn't matter how much money you have.
Exactly. It's like a toolbox with pre-built parts for making AI applications.
That makes it so much easier to get started with AI, right?
It does. Plus, they have amazing tutorials and resources, even if you're totally new.
They even have libraries and APIs for specific tasks, like running models on phones or building production-ready ML pipelines.
The whole AI development world is changing so fast. These tools are making it easier than ever to build cool AI applications.
Sounds like there's a lot to be excited about in the world of AI.
There is, but it can also be a bit overwhelming, especially if you're just starting out.
So where should people go if they want to learn more, get better at AI, and join the community?
There's so many great resources online. Many are free, too. I really like the Fast.ai website, which we talked about before. They have an awesome online course called Practical Deep Learning for Coders.
I like that they focus on a hands-on approach.
Yeah, you're building real AI apps from day one. And their community forum is great. You can connect with other people, get help.
For a more traditional learning approach, Andrew Ng's machine learning course on Coursera is a classic.
It's a great foundation, explains everything really clearly.
And of course, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, they're all in on AI, offering courses, tutorials, documentation, even certifications.
There's no shortage of options. It's about finding what works best for you and your goals.
All right, as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of AI, I want to mention a book that's been getting a lot of attention, Life 3.0, Being Human in the Age of Artificial Intelligence, by Max Tegmark.
Oh yeah, Tegmark really makes you think about the future.
He's a physicist and AI researcher at MIT. His book explores different scenarios for how AI could evolve and what it could mean for us, as a species.
I love how he tackles the big questions head on, like consciousness, superintelligence, even if AI could become a threat.
And he does it in a way that makes sense, even if you're not an expert.
One of the coolest things in the book is the idea of Life 3.0.
Yeah, Life 3.0.
He says life has evolved in 3 stages. Biological evolution, that's life 1.0, cultural evolution, life 2.0, and now technological evolution, life 3.0.
And he thinks AI could be the thing that pushes us to that next level of evolution.
Where life can design its own hardware and software, basically going beyond our biological limits.
That's a wild thought. Imagine. Intelligence not limited to living things.
Exactly. It raises questions about what it means to be human in a world where machines might be smarter than us.
That's the core of it. We have to have these conversations now before AI gets to a point where it's making those big decisions that impact all of humanity.
Tegmark's book is a good place to start thinking about these things and joining a bigger conversation.
It's not just about the technology, it's about how we use it, what values are guiding its development. Okay, for our last stop, let's come back down to earth a bit. We're looking at the MIT Media Lab, found some cool projects that use AI to solve real-world problems.
The Media Lab is known for its creativity and how it blends different fields, right?
Yeah, one project that stood out was their work on using ultrasound for deep brain stimulation.
That's huge. It could change the way we treat conditions like Parkinson's, offering a less invasive option.
It's a perfect example of how AI can improve people's health.
And the Media Lab has such a diverse group of researchers.
From engineers and artists to social scientists, all working together.
And they're all focused on the ethical side, which is crucial.
They even have a whole research area called Decentralized Society, using AI to make a more just world.
It's a reminder that AI isn't just about fancy gadgets or making profits. It can really make a difference, create a better future.
Exactly. So as we finish our AI deep dive, here are a few things to remember.
Let's hear them.
First, AI is moving incredibly fast. Things that seemed impossible just a few years ago are happening now.
We're seeing changes that affect every industry, changing how we live and work.
Second, AI is more than just technology. It's changing our society, our economy, how we understand ourselves.
We have to talk about its ethical side and how we want it to develop.
And lastly, AI is for everyone. You don't need a PhD to get involved.
There are so many resources to help you learn and contribute to this exciting field.
So what are you waiting for? Get involved, explore, learn, create, and let's shape the future of AI together.
It's a future we all have a part in.
Now, before we go, I have a question for you, our listeners. What role do you see yourself playing in this future of AI?
What are your hopes or fears about this technology? What are you doing to stay ahead of the curve?
Share your thoughts in the comments. We really want to hear from you. And as always, thanks for joining us for another Demo Hub Pod Deep Dive.
It's been great exploring AI with you.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel, and be sure to tune in next time for more insights from the world of tech and AI. We love hearing from you guys. And that wraps up another Demo Hub Pod Deep Dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's always fun to explore these AI trends.
Of course. And for everyone listening, don't forget to, like, share, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time for more exciting insights from the cutting edge of tech and AI.